Namaste. The topic of today's video is what matters most in the field of education. Many economists, educators from world over and from different universities have researched on this topic, and they have found out that the most important thing that matters is the teacher. There are other factors that contribute towards making the classroom or the transaction effective, like new technology, lot of good infrastructure, lots of teaching learning materials. But then the most important thing that matters in a classroom transaction or in the teaching learning process in a classroom is the teacher. Now, all of us want to be good teachers. All of us want to be effective teachers. We want to be known as good teachers or excellent teachers. But how do we achieve that? We all know that teaching is a very, very complex skill. And more so in the 21st century, wherein we have lots of digital gadgets, and children are learning things not only from the classroom but from various other sources. So the first and foremost thing for you to become an amazing teacher is to have a deep knowledge about the subject that you teach. It doesn't matter in which class or which grade or whatever you're teaching, but whatever subject you're going to teach in the class, you should have a deep knowledge about the subject. That is the most important thing. Because in today's world, when children are gathering information or children are bombarded with information from various sources, they may be getting the right kind of knowledge, they may not be getting the right kind of knowledge. So if the student comes and asks the teacher a doubt or whether the information they have gained is correct or not, the teacher should be able to correct them, the teacher should be able to tell them. So that is the most important thing that teacher should have. Next important skill the teacher should have is to become an amazing teacher is to explain complex things in simple manner. You may be having great knowledge. You may be an expert in the subject, but if you're not able to go down to the level of the children and make them understand, first of all, we have to understand, the teacher has to understand what is the level of the children and then be able to go down to that level and then teach them or make them understand a difficult concept. That is very, very important. In my experience in the field of education for more than about 30 years now, I have seen very excellent teachers, excellent people who are having excellent knowledge about the subject, but when it comes to delivery in the classroom, they are a misfit. So it's very, very important to be able to go down to the level of the students and teach. Coming to the next important skill that the teacher should have is the deep understanding of the psychology and the pedagogy that is to be followed. In the light of NEP 2020, there are different methodology or different kinds of pedagogy that are given in that. A teacher should understand, a teacher should have a knowledge about why that pedagogy is, in what way that pedagogy is useful for the children. So that is the next thing. And then of course the psychology of the children. If you are able to understand the psychology of the children, you will be modifying your strategies of teaching in such a manner that your children will be able to understand. And once you understand the psychology of the children, a connect is developed between the teacher and the student. And then whatever you teach, the child will be able to understand. So that is the third point that is very important for you to become an amazing teacher. The next point that an amazing teacher should have is a teacher should have wide range of management skills. It's not only in the classroom, but also we are dealing with parents, we are dealing with administration, we are dealing with so many people inside the classroom. So a teacher should have a wide range of managerial skills to manage themselves and also to manage the classes. Now in this context, I would like to emphasize that there is one more skill that is very, very important for you to become an amazing teacher, and that is to understand the brain of the child. Because whatever we are teaching, whatever transaction that is happening inside the class, that is straight away going to the brain. And brain is a very complex organ. And if you are able to understand the complexity of the brain, the methodology and the pedagogy and the kind of assessment that we do, the kind of differentiation that we do, the kind of evaluation that we do, the kind of remedial activities that we do in the classroom, all these can be easily done. So thus understanding the brain of the brain, understanding the parts of the brain or the organs that are connected to learning, that is very important. In this context, I would like to touch upon two parts of the brain. That is, one is amygdala and second is hippocampus. Now, why I am talking about amygdala and hippocampus is because these are the two parts of the brain that are deeply connected to the emotions and learning. Now, we all understand that emotions are deeply connected to learning. Once we are having positive emotions like, curiosity, wonder, joy, happiness, etc., we not only learn, we are not only motivated to learn, but we can also have the attention of the children. There is better cognition and there is also better retention. So thus understanding amygdala and hippocampus is very, very important, because inside a classroom, a teacher has to first, a classroom of about 50 or 50 plus students, the teacher has to first quieten the class and then get them excited about learning, get all the children excited about the topic or what you're going to teach, and then you have to keep the attention of the children through various methods. So if you understand the anatomy of the brain, or you understand the way the brain works, it will be very easy task for you to make the children learn. Now coming to positive emotions, I have already told. The negative emotions, when we are inside the classroom, we kind of face lots of different kind of situations in the class, wherein sometimes it becomes difficult for the teacher. You don't understand what is to be done. So once you understand the emotions of the children, it will be easy task for you to manage any kind of problem inside the class. Managing parents, managing children, managing administration, managing everything will become an easy task. Now, the two parts of the brain that I mentioned, amygdala and the hippocampus, they are the emotional center, and any kind of stress that is given to the amygdala, it has a detrimental effect on the teaching, learning, and also the memory. Now, as far as children are concerned, threatening the children, yelling at the children, shouting at the children, beating the children, or ignoring the children, or comparing the children, comparing them with others, or making them feel guilty, all these factors contribute to toxic stress. And this toxic stress is very, very bad for the amygdala or the emotional brain, because the emotional brain becomes flared up, and then once the emotional brain becomes flared up, the thinking brain, that is a prefrontal cortex, wherein the learning or the logical thinking, the reasoning, all this is happening, it shuts down. So we should always try to calm the amygdala and the hippocampus. There should be a calm, there should be peace of amygdala, and the hippocampus should be at peace, so that your thinking brain is active. So once the thinking brain is active, then only the learning will take place. So that is very, very important. Little bit of stress is good for us, like, the simple things, like to the stress of getting up in the morning or reaching the office in time, the stress of doing your homework, or anything for that matter as far as children are concerned. So those are all kind of stress that are good for the children. But this kind of toxic stress, it is very, very bad for the children's brain. And since it is toxic stress, it will affect the learning and how the behavior of the child, how the child behaves inside the class, and also how his memories are formed, his communication skills, everything will be dependent on that. So as teachers and as parents, we have to be very, very careful in not igniting this amygdala and hippocampus and not flaring them up. They should be calm so that our thinking brain is active. I hope this video will be useful to all the teachers and the parents, and I hope that all of us strive, all those teachers who are in this teaching profession, strive to be amazing teachers.